Yo, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Check the From the Shore to Be More show. Coming through strong with that podcast flow. The afternoon at 2 to 3 p.m. slot. Got the Interstate 95 turnpike high. When you tune in, they don't just entertain. They come with the message that presses the brain. Those other podcasts, they seem like we're stopping. Cause they're the big balls that jump the hot topics. So short people, dumb, you just ain't ready. For DJ Boom, Shaheem, and Montgomery. Put them together to the treacherous street. From the tri-state area to the DMV. So sit back, relax, get your Sundays on. On after morning, gone before dawn. That positive vibe, that beat is so strong. With this podcast show, you can't go wrong. So, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go.
Hey! And welcome once again to the From the Shore to Be More show. It's good to see everybody back with us again. I'm the one and only Shaheem, and I'm here with
Debbie.
yes, the beautiful Aunt Debbie. And it's good to see everybody back with us again this week. Today, DJ Boom wasn't able to join us today. So Aunt Debbie and I are going to do our best to push on and soldier on without him. Before we jump into our topic, there's a few things I just want to go over real quick. Of course, I want to just go over real quick on our show last week on dating. That was a great conversation. I hope people out there got some useful information out of it. and I want to thank people who contributed to that show. So I want to thank Aunt Debbie once again for her show on astrology. And I'm sure everybody took away something positive from that. And again, if you're looking to get your charts read, don't forget to reach out to Aunt Debbie at visioncarriers@AOL.com. She'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Yeah, reach out. Also, today is Football Sunday, so I will not go on without first mentioning my New York Giants, who are playing right now as we speak. I believe you're a Giants fan too, right, Aunt Debbie?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
I'm in New York. What else am I going to do?
That's right. That's right. There is another team here, but we don't root for those guys. But unless we have to. But right now it's all about the Giants. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. When I left, we were winning, so hopefully we could pull it out again. We got a good team this year. We're looking good, so hopefully we can get another win. Also, I know Boom's not here, but I want to talk about his Packers real fast.
Do we have
Packers
to?
Huh?
We have to.
Yeah. I want to give his team a shout out too because he's so loyal to them, to the Green Bay Packers. They're taking on, I think, the Washington Commanders today, down in DC, I think, which should be a good game for them. Once they should pull out, but we'll see. That's why we play the game every Sunday, right, folks?
Amen.
Now, Aunt Debbie, since you're in New York, you might have heard about what's going on with the New York Yankees.
No, I'm
No?
sorry.
Oh, okay. No, not everybody's a baseball fan. Well, Yankees fans who are watching, or fans out there who know about baseball, you already know the Yankees have their backs against the wall. They're down 3-0 in this series against the Houston Astros, and they are getting clobbered. It is not looking good for them. They're playing today if they get the game in, because in our area, for those who don't know, it's not the best weather. It's kind of rainy outside right now. So they might not be able to get the game in. But if they do, the Yankees' backs are against the wall. One more game and they're out of it. One more loss, they're out of it. That's it. And after such a great season that they had, with Aaron Judge with the 62 home runs and everything, it would be extremely sad to see them get knocked out by the Houston Astros again. The Astros has knocked them out at least 3 or 4 times over the last couple of years. And so fans of the Yankees, I know you got your fingers crossed. We shall see. We shall see. We're moving along. Our topic today, we're going to talk about looking good and feeling good. Me, myself, I don't dress up all the time anymore, but I do like to look good. Don't get it twisted. I like to think I clean up pretty nice, actually. And
Shaheem,
yeah,
I saw this photo of you where you had on a shirt that was kind of open here, and you had like a little waist kind of
really.
shirt. I was like, "Oh, who's that?"
That must have been from a few years ago.
Oh, no. Boy, and I thought he is handsome.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. And I noticed that you yourself, you look beautiful today.
Well, I tried to kind of fix up at least a little bit. I have my fancy earrings on. Actually, they're two different earrings by two different artists. So, we like the not matching style in New York City. So they don't match, but they go
Well, you
together.
look beautiful.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah, and it fits right into our topic today. Now, I had a special guest stylist coming on who was supposed to join us today and talk about fashion and the importance of looking good and how it affects your confidence and so on and so forth. But they reached out to me this morning and said they weren't going to be able to join in. They weren't feeling well. Hopefully they feel better. But they kind of left us hanging. But on Debbie and I, we're going to push through because we believe that your appearance helps your confidence in a lot of ways. That's why, for instance, when you go for job interviews, the first thing they tell you is to look good, to make sure that you're looking good for that first impression.
That you don't wear earrings like this on a job interview.
Well, it depends on what you're interviewing for.
Now you're talking, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
And fashion can mean different things to different people, because I know for us Black people, we've been so used to European style fashion for so many years in this country. It took us a minute to really develop a culture of our own, in my opinion. But one of the things we did develop on our own is the hip hop culture. That's just one. For those who are familiar with things like zoot suits, and we're going back further, I believe African Americans were the ones who first started padding their shoulders and wearing the broad shoulder suits. And I'm going back some decades.
Yeah.
That's just to show you.
Ellington.
Go ahead and talk about it. Let's let these young people know.
Well, I mean, I wish I had a photograph to show.
Oh, me too.
But he was, I mean, if you want to go quickly on the internet, but Duke Ellington was a band leader in the, I want
to say, was it 30s, 20s, 30s?
I was thinking 30s, maybe 40s, but he was very stylish.
Oh,
and
what?
Suits were really cut. I think they had huge lapels, and
they
then
did.
he had a chain hanging.
The chain. Oh, they were so clean.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
They were so clean.
Yeah, that was clean. That was clean.
Yeah, and so our influence in style has been there for so long, but hasn't been recognized. Unfortunately, been stolen and overshadowed by other designers. Unfortunately, but speaking and just to speak back to those days, back in those days, to put on suits and shoes and dress up to go out for the night was a real thing. That's what people did. The girls did their hairs and wore these beautiful dresses and gowns and shoes. Of course, it's not like that now. Times never change. Times always change. But I'm just trying to speak to our people in fashion. And back then, boy, we used to clean up and nice to go out to these wonderful clubs.
And a lot of the designers who we, have been popularized of European descent, I'm talking, a lot of times they took their style, our style. Our everyday going to a party, they would, look at that and copy it and promote it as their own.
Absolutely. Now, and you can speak to this. For me, talking about our style in general and our contribution to it all, it seemed to me that our style, our preference for style, always was a little bit more edgier, and other races and other people gravitated to that. And especially when it came to hip hop and the street culture. It started out on the streets, the music, the dance, the clothes. Younger people, of course, you wouldn't remember. I lived it because I remember when there was no hip hop, so I watched the rise of it all. And in the beginning of it, people did not believe into it. It was ghetto, it was urban, it was street. And look at the billion-dollar industry that it grew into now.
Yes.
Everything, and we're going to talk about the fashion, but the music too, the dance, and of course the fashion. Now, when I was younger, and hip hop first it started with party dress type of thing, but then it went quickly to sneakers, the shell-toed Adidas, the sweatsuits, the baggy pants. I mean, pants so saggy, so baggy hanging off you. The big T-shirts, even everything from the jewelry, the gold chains and bracelets, and the girls with the big earrings, and then so on and so forth. The fancy hats, and it went from the streets to everywhere. You see it everywhere now, across the globe. Across the globe, started by African Americans right here on the streets of the cities, and it's amazing to watch it. Because, like I said, I lived it. Watch it grow to what it is now. But people can't steal it now. Everyone knows who created this style. You can't just slap a label on and say, "Oh, we invented this." No, we all know where this culture and this style came from.
And what we were doing is establishing our own identity. We weren't allowing other people to define us.
Bingo.
And say, you must dress this way and you must behave that way. Oh, sometimes we had to give into that on our jobs. We had to try to look fit in. But when we are doing our thing, we say, this is who I am. This is how I feel. This is how I roll. And I am
now that's interesting. Well, maybe our style is a lot edgier because our style and our fashion is built a lot in rebellion.
Could be.
You want me to wear my pants straight now? I don't want to wear them like that. I'm going to wear them baggy. You want me to wear shoes all the time? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wear sneakers.
Yeah. Baggy pants might have been considered sloppy at one time. And someone said, your sloppy is my identity, my style, my thing. That's my comfort.
Exactly. I'll give you a perfect example. When the transition went from in the 60s, 50s and 60s to straightening your hair, older people might remember this. If your hair is short and nappy, Cockleave will make you happy. I know all the older people checking out the show shouting out right now. But yeah.
Can I veer off into hair fashion for a second?
Absolutely.
As you know, when I was a little girl in the 50s, Black girls, we longed for long hair. We didn't have it. So, we used to put pants on our legs.
You talked about that.
Did I talk about that? So, but what I'm very proud about is that we had a desire around hair and we actually manifested that. That's powerful. That's magic. That's wrong. That we said we want hair and so we got the weaves and we got the braids and we also learned that by straightening our hair, we were also breaking it off and making it less healthy. And so braids, which were considered picky Annie, actually became fashionable.
Well, you might remember
braiding is better for your hair.
Right. Yeah. And you might remember the transition when brothers start going from straightening their hair to afros. Kids, I was a kid in the 70s, so I remember afros shoulder length out to here. Yes. And brothers would be picking them all day long.
Yeah. They used to have this style called conch. I think oh God, what is that name? Nat King Cole. You know, the men wore a conch back in
Huh?
the day,
Right.
and that was considered, well, you had straight hair, was close to European
That
hair.
was a European style
Yeah.
of wearing your hair to be accepted. Now I can
Mhm.
understand at the time, as Black people were trying to make certain advantages in social life here in this country, fitting in wasn't what you had to fit in. It was important. Let's face it. If you were going to get ahead at a certain time, we did not control the money. We weren't the employers at the time. We were the employees, unfortunately. And so to get jobs or to fit into certain parts of society, or just to get ahead on your job, you had to look and unfortunately act a certain way. But I can also remember Black men, Black women coming home, even to this day. Even professionals who graduated from colleges and have professional jobs, they come home. When they leave their jobs, they get in their car, they turning on the hip hop. They taking off the bed, they letting their hair down. When they getting home, they taking off that suit and they throwing on the baggy clothes and sweatsuits and
Yes,
putting it,
yes.
and it's back to being who they are. And I see people talk about it on the internet all the time. About when they leave their jobs, and now I got the Snoop Dogg banging, and I can get away from the elevator music I was listening to, and you see it all the time. Such is life right now. We get it. You, in the professional world, you have to look and act a certain way. We get it. I'm not knocking anybody.
When we go to church, when especially back in the day, I think church is a lot more casual and the fashions for church has changed. But back in the day, when we went to church, we had our church clothes.
We had church clothes.
That wasn't on us by white folk. That was our own values. That was our own way of honoring, the divine.
That's so very true. Man, you're bringing back so many memories.
That we'd have our church clothes.
We had our church clothes, and we could not wear them during the week. Boy, we'd be in trouble.
Wear them during the weeks, and them sisters with the hats.
Oh, my mother still got hats.
Going up to there, oh my gosh.
On certain days at church, like Mother's Day, all the hats came out.
All those hats came out.
The hats came out.
Yes.
But it was good times. It was good times, and it just speaks to how good, if you're stepping out your house and then looking good, how much it affects and impacts your confidence. When you're not feeling good, maybe you woke up and like today, sun's not shining, it's a groggy day. You probably more likely you're gonna throw in a sweatsuit. You ain't around the house, it's just that kind of day. But boy, when you say you got an event you're going to, you wake up, the sun's shining, you throw on that suit, or that dress and everything. You put on those heels and you looking good, and you step out that door, and it just impacts your confidence so much more. And so to people out there, I would say, you never want to put so much into your appearance that it takes away from everything else. But looking good is important. Wives, a lot of time, and I guess husbands too, when they get married or settle down, maybe dressing up or getting yourself sexy for that partner isn't a priority anymore. Maybe mom's wearing a lot more sweatsuits than heels these days. Maybe dad's getting a little belly from sitting around on the couch a little more, and the t-shirts don't look as sexy on him anymore. That can affect your confidence. It can become habit forming, and in my opinion, it could be a little detrimental to certain people. I make it a point myself, I can't speak for everybody, to take certain days to dress up, even if I'm going nowhere. To get myself together, even if I'm going nowhere. Because for me, it's important to look the part, not just talk the part all the time. I cannot wear sweatsuits all the time. No. I do have a lot of them, but No, because it affects my confidence so much. So for me to lay around the house in sweatsuits every day, I can see myself getting into a funk. And so I purposely take certain days of the week to make sure that I get up and get myself together so that I can look in the mirror and say, yeah, I still got it. Not everybody feels that way. I know not for everybody, fashion is an issue, but especially when you're in a relationship, I think it can set the tone in so many ways of how your relationship's going to play out. People still like to be attracted to each other. They do. I think that only terrible thing can happen in a relationship, whether you're married or whatever, when a person starts losing interest in their partner because of their appearance. You hear it all the time, whether it's a male or female, looking for that younger person out there because their partner at home just isn't doing it for them anymore. I guess it's so easy as you go on with the family and kids and everything to get away from that. But I will always stress the importance of looking good, at least staying attractive to your partner. If somebody disagrees, chime in. I'd love to hear from everybody out there. Y'all know how to get in touch with us. Put your comments in the comment section. We'll put them up. If you don't feel that appearance is as important as a relationship, reach out to me and let me know, because I think it's very important. I don't know how my wife feels. I never asked her about that. And people out there, if you've talked to your wife about that or your partner, let me know. That's a conversation that never came up with my wife. But I wonder how she feels. In fact, once I get off the show, I'm going to ask her. I'm curious now. What do you think? Do you think in a relationship that appearance should play a big role?
Well, here's what I'd like to offer. When we get dressed, I think it's important to be dressing for ourselves. Often people think of fashion as frivolous. And
Okay.
I think of people who are designers, for example, who make jewelry, that they're actually healers in a way, because I know what it's like to be feeling a little down.
Right.
And then I have to go someplace and I try to go to Macy's and find something, and it's not made for me, and my belly is a little too big, and I am beyond middle age. But when I put on one of those garments that has been tailored for my figure, and if you're a large woman, you want to wear styles that are in and out, right?
Right.
So if you go to some stores, Lane Bryant's, for example, and they have clothes for big women, they're big, but shapy. So I'm a bit big, but I got a shape to me. So when I put something on and I go and I look in that mirror and I go, ooh,
yes.
Ooh, then when I go forward, I carry the energy of self-love.
That's what I meant to say.
That's what makes us attractive to other people.
All right, that's the point I was trying to make.
Exuding confidence in ourselves, that we show that we love ourselves.
That's the point. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. And I think in a marriage, especially with some longevity, I wouldn't want to have to dress up all the time. But let's say I'm not married, but I have a guy. When he's coming over, I have house clothes that got a little something to them. Yeah, I do. Something with a little swing. Ultimately, though, I have to do that for myself, because there's no way of controlling how another person thinks or feels, and their need for a certain kind of excitement. Some people really need, I call them high peak people. They need new, they need different. I might not be able to do that for you. So
that's
I
well
think
said though about it being more for yourself
it's got to be
than for someone else.
for yourself.
I know someone who I think started trying to, who's married, trying to get themselves together more for the other person than for themselves, and it didn't work out. It still didn't work out. They still ended up separating. You know, and that's unfortunate. So you're right. It's important for you to be doing it for yourself. I know someone who believes in fashion. That's my cousin Jay Wiles, and I know he believes in fashion and clothes because he started his own fashion line, and he's here to tell you guys all about it. And
you know, although even though, let me just say one point, even though you're not doing dating, we did that last week, what makes a person attracted to another is that their light is turned on. So if you want to attract people, you have to turn on your light. And fashion is a way of turning on the light that then helps people to see our sun, to see that.
Looking good. It's almost like a glow, like you shine.
You want to check it out. Yeah. Hey,
what up, cuz?
Wilds.
Can you hear us?
I guess he's working it. He's working it out.
What up, cuz? Can you hear us?
I just heard something though. Hey,
he's trying to get it together. But like I was saying, he started his own fashion. I bought some of his clothes too.
Yeah.
Some of his sneakers.
I'm trying to get this sound together. Hold on.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you now. Can you hear us? All right, yeah, he's still working it out. And I bought some of his sneakers. And they were nice. They were nice. And he's been at it for a minute now. And I've been watching the company grow. I'm really curious. Cuz, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you hear me?
I was telling everybody about your company. I hear an echo.
Yeah, I had to turn down the sound.
Why don't you tell everybody about the company and why? What made you start it? First of all.
For me, it was always I just didn't really want to. I didn't want to wear everybody else's brand all the time. You know, it's funny. It actually wasn't even about getting clothes out there to the masses. It was just about really representing me. It was more for a representation of myself. But, you know, when you do things and you make a certain thing and people see it and they like the design and somebody may say, hey, where can I get one of those? You know?
Yeah.
So that's what it really was about. I always wanted to kind of design my own shoes, own colors, and own styles and stuff like that. So it was an idea that I played around with for a while. I just didn't know how to go about it. But in today's world, like, it's so many different ways now. It's so easy to get this stuff done. So, you know, I just been out there and just trying to figure out how I was going to get this done and looking up different websites and distributors and things like that. But the clothing line, the brand was originally called Wild Boy, but I decided to change it because I wanted something a little more universal. As opposed to Wild Boy. So I changed it to Wild Wear Brand Official. And it's basically, you know, but it's still the same meaning behind it. You know, I feel like being being wild, you know, people think like you mean being crazy sometimes,
Right.
you know. And yeah, that's, you know, it's a little bit of that, you know, it's a little bit of
that is who you are.
Yeah. But it also, for me, it always meant being yourself, being who you are. And how I always explain it is, I tell people, I say, if you come across a lion in the wild, the lion is just going to be the lion. It's not going to try to be an elephant, it's going to be the lion.
Wow.
So
because that's all it knows how to be.
Wow. Wow.
What would you call your style of fashion?
That's interesting.
I see it's got a hip hop flavor, but it's not just that.
It's not just that. It's, you know, with me, you never know what you're gonna get. I might come out the house looking like a 19-year-old one day, and the next day I might walk out the house looking like a distinguished gentleman. So, you know, I think is blending those and blending those combination of things and making it work well together, and also looking age appropriate.
So,
you know, being
let me
a 42-year-old man.
How about hip hop casual?
Hip hop casual. I could live with that.
What do you mean age
I could definitely live with that.
What do you mean age appropriate?
Well, you know, like for instance, I may wear some of the same thing that the younger guys wear. The only difference is my pants and my belt is around my waist.
Talk about it. You mean they're not hanging off your butt? I guess is what you're getting at.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what started that craze, by the way, since we touching on it. But to the young dudes out there, I wish you would just pull your pants up, please.
You know this jail culture, right? It's a fashion that has come out of the jails, because when you go to jail, they take away your belt and they take away your
shoestrings.
And so the brothers coming out of jail, you know, maybe some sisters, I don't know, started, you know, they continued that, and then we copied, and sometimes we're not aware of what we're copying.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
but I think if young women wouldn't date a guy with his pants hanging off, that would go out.
Fast.
You know, if all the young women said, no, I do not date men with their pants hanging down, honey, let me tell you.
It would definitely go. Women run the world.
Don't let them know that.
Oh, don't be afraid of it, cuz. Never be afraid of it. Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Embrace it. Never be afraid of it. It's, you know, we need these women. They are the ones that kind of decide who we are to a degree. Not directly.
Yo, slow down, man. That's a whole other show. Back to fashion. Back to fashion.
I was about to move it back. I was about to move it back to fashion.
You're giving the women way too much right now.
I've been told that all my life.
That's another show. In fact, I wish I would have got you on our last show, dating. When we talked about dating last week, but we'll talk about that another time. But back to the clothes. Like I was telling everybody, I bought some of your clothes, and it was interesting that you brought up the point too, that your clothes are age appropriate. Basically, what you're saying is, people my age, everybody who watch the show, you all know my age, to wear your clothes, but they can still look cool in them.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and what I mean, I don't want to offend nobody, as if I'm saying like, if you dress young, I'm going to judge you. Or I want everybody to be comfortable with however they want to dress. You know, but for me personally, you know, sometimes you just want to make sure you still, you know, and I'll ask the question when I get dressed. If I have people around, I'm like, hey, you know, I don't look too like I don't like to look like I'm trying. I think that's what it is for me.
Let me put this out there, and Debbie, you can chime in too. Can clothes actually be age appropriate?
I'm just cleaning my camera.
Okay. Or can people basically wear anything? I mean, honestly, for me.
Oh, you look better, Jay Wiles. Yeah, I kind of challenge the concept of age appropriate, especially.
Yeah, I think I do too a little bit.
That very often women are told that when we're older, you know,
you can't dress a certain way.
Yeah.
I should not be wearing my clothes off my shoulders, for example.
Right.
Or that I should, you know, this is for a young woman to have longer earrings. So I say put on what's you appropriate.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, like, what feels good and what feels right for you.
If you feel confident in it.
Appropriate is being defined by somebody else who says what I should do or shouldn't do at my age. And he may be Jay Wild, but my real name is Aunt Wild Debbie.
I see both sides of it, though. I believe that if no matter how old you are, if you feel confident in it, then you should be able to put it on. Okay? But like a year or two ago, my wife and I, we attended a Mary J. Blige concert. Shout out to Mary J. She's one of my favorites. And there were older women in there who were wearing tight, half-dress, neon green things, and they probably shouldn't have been wearing those things. Now, it's kind of a two-sided sword here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, for me, I wouldn't say they shouldn't be wearing them. That's why I said, when I said age appropriate, I was just referring to how I felt.
Right.
Not what nobody else should do.
Okay.
But I wouldn't tell nobody what they should or shouldn't wear.
Okay.
Now, I will probably look at them and say, in my opinion, it's not a good idea. But that's just my opinion. We all have our opinions on what we feel, what we may like, what we may not like.
But we're not always honest about it.
When I meet someone and a woman and they be like, well, I like to dress like this. This is who I am. I'm gonna dress this way. I want to wear, small things. I personally don't have an issue with it. What I say to them though is when you go out the house, they'll put on something and they'll say, hey, is this okay? This not too much? And I'll go, are you comfortable? And they go, yeah. And I say, now just remember. Yeah. And then I say, just remember the last time when you wore something like this? He said, I'm getting so sick of these men saying this and looking at me like this. I said, so are you ready for that too? So just take what comes with it. I'm okay. I got your back, like chiropractic. But are you okay?
Go ahead on, Debbie. Make your point, please.
Oh, I just wanted to offer that when we dress, we also are saying something. And a lot of times when I walk the Harlem streets and I look at what people are wearing, I also wonder, what are they saying? So perhaps what I'm saying is that I feel free, but if I have on something where my my belly is or my breasts are shown too much, am I saying that I am a sex object? So
I'm going to make a point.
We also have to know that clothes say something, and I would say to women who wear those short skirts, if you put on a skirt, don't walk down the street pulling it down. Don't wear it.
Yeah.
If you gotta pull
just don't wear it.
Then it means you're not comfortable and you're wearing it because you think it's sexy, but not because it's you.
But fashion is a funny thing. Because fashion can make us into liars. And here's what I'm saying. Because we don't like to hurt people's feelings, especially our loved ones, we're not always going to be honest with them. We're not going to always say, you know what? I probably wouldn't wear that dress We're not going to always say, you know, that hairstyle ain't really doing it. We're not always going to say, maybe you got on a little bit too much makeup, because we don't like to hurt people's feelings. I know that to be true. I know that to be true.
When my mother wore an afro in the 60s, people said to her, "Why are you wearing your hair like that? You trying to look young?" All it was an afro. So sometimes people are limited and ignorant. And so when I have a niece who wears purple all the time, she wears purple hair. And when I first saw her, I was like, what? Because mind you, I'm 25 years older than her. So the purple hair for me was odd. And then I had to change how I saw things and see how I was limited. And so I never said about her purple hair, and I grew to love it. So that's why you got to do you, and the feedback you get, you might adjust. But yeah, I think I would avoid telling people that they don't look good in something, or that they have on too much.
But is that the right thing? Because now you're allowing someone to walk around not looking their best. Maybe it's a color they have on, or like I said, because I see this a lot. Girls wear a lot of time too much makeup. Too much makeup. And it don't always look good. Now, some cases, yes. When it's professionally done, nicely done, it looks good. But of course, not everybody can have it professionally done all the time. And it looks
like an old man.
Am I? Because I'm not the only one I heard say this. Jay Wow, you've seen a lot of the women today. I mean, you've been dating. Have you seen women out there who you felt had a lot of makeup on?
All the time. And I always tell them I think they look like a supermarket birthday cake. But, you know, once again, it goes back to, if you're comfortable looking like a clown. So to me, the way women wear their makeup today, everything, makeup, the lashes, all of it,
it's all
they
over the
look
top.
like men. They look like men that's trying to look like women.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
That's how it comes across to me. Because the men, when you see drag queens and things like that, what do? Everything they do is over the top. It's over the top.
Over the top.
It's extra less. And that's how women look now, over the top. Everybody look like drag queens now. It's like a drag queen culture.
You're right.
And I know it's going to be sensitive to a lot of women. Like I'm seeing a young lady now, and I asked her, can she dumb down her eyelashes? I said, because she was like, oh, I don't want you getting your hair dreaded because I don't like it like that. I said, well, I don't want you to wear them long ass eyelashes. I don't like that. It looks unnatural and it looks silly.
I don't know where the eyelash thing came from. I really don't. But I think the eyelash thing might have been part of our culture for a while, though, honestly.
But women always touched up their eyelashes. They darkened them. They made them look longer.
The Egyptians.
But now it's like, it's just this craziness. It's like, crazy. What is this? Like, I've been seeing women that can barely hold their eyes open. I'm not even trying to make jokes. Like, it's not even funny. Like,
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
You fix my hair.
Oh, you look beautiful, Debbie. But I get what he's saying, because it does seem the culture today. Everything seems to be over the top, especially with the introduction of social media. Everybody's trying to outdo each other. Everybody's trying to one up each other, and so it's gotten a little out of hand as far as some of the fashion and what the girls are wearing, as far as the makeup that they're wearing, even some of the hairstyles. I saw the fingernails on the internet the other day, social media. It was a butterfly fingernails. I mean, a whole butterfly. Everything's over the top these days. But I can also go back to when I was a kid, and my father, I don't think he's watching, but if he sees the show, he'll remember this. When I was a young man, back when shell-toe Adidas first got popular, one of the things that everybody wore them with were thick shoelaces, but never tied them. Never tied them. And I can remember my father saying to me,
I
why
remember
would you ever tie your shoes? That's so crazy. You boys never tie your shoes. You're going to fall down. Sound like a real old man. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
so,
how y'all sounding.
and so every generation got their thing, you know, and to us older people will never understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe they're trying. What I'm much more lenient these days because I understand that people are trying to find themselves. But I know that when I look at people, I'm looking at how they think, where their consciousness is. So a person who is over the top with the eyelashes and the makeup and 1,000 colors in their hair, that's where they are. If that's where they are mentally, I want to meet them where they are.
Okay.
And say that's where their minds are. That's where their minds are. I hope that as they grow and evolve, that they'll change their language, the language of their attire, and come up a little bit in their consciousness.
Yeah.
But if I made a judgment, I really would say that anybody who has to wear them eyelashes way over the top, there's a certain kind of insecurity that they are trying. They're saying, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I am my body. I am my hair. I am, and that they don't yet know that beauty does come from the inside and it's reflected out. So I think anybody that sometimes we're looking at, rebelliousness, sometimes we're looking at ingenuity, and sometimes we're looking at, insecurity.
It's a lot to it what people wear and what they decide to wear in fashion. I know one of the big things also is money. Clothes can get terribly expensive, which is one thing I can appreciate about your clothes, Jay Wiles, that they're reasonable. Clothes, depending on what you're trying to wear, can get outrageous, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars.
And the sad thing about it, cuz, is that where the quality don't get that much better. It's only so far the quality is going to go. So at this point now, you're just paying for whatever name is on there.
The name.
You're paying about 30% for quality and 70% for a name. That's
true. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, the list goes on and on and on. And yet our people will be the ones who will fight tooth and nail for these brands. And these brands don't even care about our people.
Well, and that's the thing, because it's about the name. And we always talk about this,
Yeah,
they will go support. They'll go support. They're not going to support Wild Boy the way they would go run off and support. And it's not even just about me. Think about all the black clothing lines that came and went. They sell them off because they start losing the value. So then they sell them off, and then you see them in little knockoff stores like Ross or Marshalls. Then you see like Sean John or Rocawear or Eniche. All these brands that was popular during our time, and now they're all sold off because they couldn't keep up. But somehow Burberry, Gucci, Versace, Louis Vuitton, they stay up. They don't go nowhere. They don't go nowhere.
Where you hear our people mention their brands in all their songs. Support them where they're clothes and their videos. You don't see them wearing black brands.
Not much. No.
Not much at all.
Not much. And when the black brands do come, they come and they go.
Yeah, that's the shame of it all.
They come in. It's a fad for a year or two, and then they're gone.
Well, why would you suppose? Or maybe you don't even have the answer that these European brands have such a grasp on our community.
It's that question has so many different answers.
It does, because I think for one thing, that for a lot of people, these brands just represent wealth. These brands say that I'm doing well in life. You know, even though this brand doesn't contribute to my community at all.
No.
I've never seen that spokesmen come to my high school and talk about job training and things like that. But they still mean well to me, so I'm going to go ahead and support them and buy them. You know, it's that kind of thinking, and it's been that way for I don't know how long in our community. That's been such a negative, you know, in our community for so long, along with so many other things. You know, it's incredible.
Shaheem, that's a good point.
You know, and certain people, certain rappers, and certain famous people have come out spoken about it. And have tried to do things and change the culture. But unfortunately, we are still stuck there. You know?
And the thing is those rappers and those celebrities that do that are the same ones that still throw it in our face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what this brings up for me is the way in which we're trying to prove ourselves. And we're trying to prove ourselves because by having on a certain thing and we're saying, see, look at me, this is who I am. What we're saying is that we don't value ourselves.
Oh, wow.
We really need to learn and live by our true values. If I'm invited out to a party, sometimes I'm tempted to buy something just so that I can, you know, freshen up my look. But if I say, you know what, that's going to cut into my art supplies, and that's going to cut into my rent. And that's going to, I really can't budget that. But I don't want to wear what I wore last time. Why not? Why can't I wear what I wore last time?
Wow.
I'm guilty. You paid for it. You bought it.
You know, so I think often we are dressing for other people.
We are.
I say this about women.
I'm guilty.
Dress for women.
I say that all the time, Auntie. I said everything women do is for other women. For me, most of the time.
I agree, especially with the bags.
Men don't care. Men don't care. We will say if you go get your butt bigger, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, we like it, but we will still have sex with you with your butt small. We don't care.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I hope.
Ultimately, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We will acknowledge something looks better, but we don't care. And it's like, so who are you really trying to outdo? You know, when it comes to these clothes, you got the rappers in this, like we was talking about with hip hop. And now music, hip hop music, especially now more than ever, is about telling you that I'm going to take your girlfriend. I'll take your girl and don't have no respect for you as a man because you don't have enough money because you work a regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take her because I can get this and that and the third. So you're less than me. So now you got young boys coming up, everybody trying to sell drugs, trying to do whatever they can do to keep up with that rapper who's saying, you're not good enough because I'll take your girl with this money. And the girls buy into it because they allowed themselves to be taken.
But what they're not even realizing, cuz, is that a lot of it's fake. A lot of it's just fake. A lot of it's fake. But I gotta admit, and I'm owning up to it. You know, especially in my younger days, I am guilty of it. Yeah, I have spent my last to buy a jacket or something stupid before because of the name. I'm a human being. I'm no different.
You know, we all make mistakes, so you've learned. You've learned.
I wouldn't do that now.
You're not doing that today. Take your mortgage money and
what?
You know.
What? But there was a time, and maybe some you guys are guilty of it too, where I say, well, I'm going to go get it and I'll figure it out, you know.
Look, I've done it. I've gone and spent money from head to toe on an outfit only to go to a party and it's dark and nobody's there.
Shaheem,
And ain't
I ruined all 4 years of my high school years because I felt like I grew up poor. My mother didn't buy us what we wanted. So when I started working at McDonald's, I had no focus on school, but going there and looking fresh. I was buying sneakers. I was doing it because I never had. I got teased. I always had generic shoes. So yeah, it was that mentality. And even then, I still didn't go over the top. I didn't.
Oh, that's a great point because I think I'm affected. I'm affected by the same thing. When I was going to school, especially the grade school, my mother had 5 kids and was alone by herself for a lot of those years. Some of our school clothes had to come from thrift stores. And that affected me. I tell my kids all the time because for a part of my life, there's a whole room, not a closet, but I have a whole room full of clothes upstairs. And my daughter asked me one day, like, why you own so many clothes? And I sat down and I shared that story with her. And that's when I realized that I had been traumatized because I didn't have those things as a young person.
Shaheem, in middle school, I was wearing y'all African outfits. They was 7, 8 years played out. They was handed down to me.
I remember.
I was wearing those to school.
I remember. I didn't realize that clothes could traumatize people.
I was wearing the
sessions.
I was wearing the purple jeans with the African print to middle school.
Wow.
We wasn't even living in a yellow house no more at this time. We long gone.
Wow.
So that is like with that mentality, I remember having to beg my mom. Like, and I used to tell Sharonda, I used to fight for both of us. And I had to tell her, I said, look, I can't do it no more. I can't fight for both of us no more. You're going to have to learn how to fight for yourself. Because my mom, bless her soul, she was a cheap woman, So even if she had it, she like, no, we ain't getting that. My dad used to always get on her for not buying cheese with the bologna. That's just the type of woman she was. But to be very clear, I always say this: I never hold my mother accountable for nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They did the best they could.
Just as we're learning and growing, she was learning and growing. So I have no, it's just what it was. It's just the facts of what was.
Wow.
But and I remember begging for these shoes. I'm begging like, oh please, Mom, just get it. And they was the shoes. It was a store called Economy Shoes, and they used to have this table, and they would just throw all the shoes that was
wow.
They just wanted to get rid of. They would throw them up there on the They would put them up there in the middle, like, yeah, if you could find the 2 matches, you could get these for real cheap, whatever. All I seen was a swoosh, a Nike swoosh. I'm like, I'm okay with that. Can I get those? Shaheem, these shoes was $19. I had to beg my mother. Beg her. Sharonda used to get teased for the shoes, and I was like, I can't fight for both of us no more. I can't, because it was a tough fight for myself, Like, and so when I got my job at McDonald's, I was like, oh, this is never happening to me ever again.
I think we answered the question as to why most of our people are the way they are. Because we just didn't have it.
We felt deprived.
We just didn't have it. So when we get to a point where we can get it, we go over the top. Isn't that something?
We go over the top. And we don't know balance. And sometimes when we learn that balance, it's a little too late.
I agree. because I had to really sit down and look at myself in the mirror and have a conversation with my daughter before I realized what was going on in my life and that I was overcompensating for what I didn't have as a kid. I stopped buying clothes. I still buy them, but not like I used to.
Yeah,
and I'm
well, right now,
people watching.
I have a shoe.
Huh?
I have a shoe problem. I got like 50 pairs of shoes right now. Like I have a shoe, but I'm not buying. I'm buying like $40 shoes, $50 shoes, and then the occasional $120 shoe.
Okay, but you said you got 40, 50 pairs of shoes?
Really took them.
Yeah, man.
Bro! You can listen. You can talk to Debbie if you feel you need some help.
Well, I was going to say he's a Pisces. He's a Pisces, and Pisces rules the feet. So maybe we just need to change the sign.
But you know, part of the reason is because, you know, when I'm doing these events, I'm doing different things. I'm buying different outfits, you know, so that's part of the reason. Like, just for example, I just bought another pair of shoes because I DJ a 50 Shades of Pink.
Okay. So
I got you. I didn't have pink shoes. You know, so
right, pink shoes. We'll let you have that. We'll let you have pink shoes. But just, I'm glad that you're noticing that you have so many shoes, and how often can you wear those shoes? And not only is it taking your money, but it's taking your space in your house. It's probably becoming part of clutter in your house. So you might need to see.
You don't know me, Aunt Debbie.
You're right, baby.
I think she's trying to tell you, though. Of course, you buy shoes for different events, but you're probably dealing with a little bit of trauma too.
Deprivation.
Oh no, I definitely am aware of that. I'm very aware of that, very much so.
Maybe our people in general.
I make
to some degree.
I make a conscious effort. Yeah, I make a conscious effort to try not to buy shoes. But
I don't mean to laugh. But
the thing is, I probably wear on a regular basis about 6 pair of them.
Okay.
On a rotational basis.
Here's your assignment, Jay Wild. Your assignment is to get rid of, by throwing them away or sending them to a thrift store, 5 pairs of shoes. 5.
He can't do it.
Do you think
he ain't gonna do it?
That? So you said you have 50 pairs, you only wear 6. You want to look at things according to whether you love it and you're going to wear it. But if you just kind of like it and it was something that you bought because it was on sale, and but just do 5 pairs. And if that's too hard, start with 3 pairs. And see if you die. If you give 3 pairs of shoes away and you die, don't give any more away. But just watch when you get rid of things, even in your house. We ought to do a show on clutter. Even in your house will lift, and you will feel lifted. Trust me. Can you do 3 pairs of shoes, Jay Wild?
So I got a confession.
I'm gonna have you more next week to see if you got rid of them shoes, bro.
I got a confession. No, I got a confession. I had about 50-ish pair of shoes because I got rid of about 20 pair. I literally just threw away.
Wow, good for you.
But then she still
Like
got
a
50
whole-
left though.
But those are the ones I really wanted.
Listen, I gotta start
Some of
rounding
those-
out the show. I gotta start rounding out the show. It's been a great show, and I want to thank you, Jay Wild, especially for bailing us out and joining us after our first guest bailed down on us, man. So I appreciate you coming on.
No problem, no problem.
It was a great conversation. I think I learned a lot, not just about fashion, about clothes in general, and why we have the habits we have when it comes to buying clothes. I got to take a good look at myself. That's for sure. Well, anyway, on deck, what you got going on this week?
I'm winding down. I just had an artist talk yesterday, and I'm winding down and getting ready to receive my sister Inez, who is coming from Maryland.
Awesome.
So I'm cleaning house and throwing away old shoes.
That's funny.
Okay.
Jay, I'm gonna have you on next week to see if you got any shoes. All right?
No, don't you do that. Don't you put me on. What we can do is have me on, and I can show you my favorite pants.
We'll talk about it behind the scenes. All right. All right, for everybody out there, don't forget to go check out my song Waitlist. You can find it on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube Music. My video, after all of the editing, is finally done. I'm going to be putting that out this week for you guys. And don't forget to learn the Waitlist Challenge, because we're going to have our big party on New Year's Eve, and we want to see you all doing it. So go check out the video and learn it. All right?
All right.
That being said, that's it from me and Debbie from the store to Be More. We'll see you guys next week.
Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.